Hello and thanks for joining us on Team Reptile Adventures. This is our first camp of the 2007 summer. We're already into July. We usually offer a camp in June, but Amy and I went to Thailand to adopt our little babies. So we're starting out here on a hot day in July. We're going to explore Shiawassee Basin Preserve and see what we can find to show you folks at home. So let's get started.
We began our day hiking along the Shiawassee trails and made our first stop at Snake Meadow Valley, where we found a northern ribbon snake right away.
It's a ribbon.
Is it a ribbon?
Do you guys remember how to tell the difference between a ribbon snake and a common garter?
No. Ribbon snake, yeah.
David?
There's stripes. The pattern on its body.
On its body? See all the... Excuse me a minute, buddy.
What the fact that
see all the black? I'll stand so you can see. See how dark the black is? And there's actually, you can see the black underneath the yellow side line there, basically. The lines that run along the ribbon snake, you'll actually have a separation between the line and the belly, or the underbelly. So plus, it's got a longer tail, and the head has those, the eyes are much bigger than the garter snake. So. In fact, maybe, Taylor, if you don't mind, maybe you can bring the common garter snake over just so we can have both at the same time.
Oh, right here.
See how different the colors are? How much more vibrant the black is on the ribbon snake? And it doesn't have the hash pattern of the yellow or white. Ribbon snakes usually have a real bright yellow. And plus, look at the eyes, the way the eyes are set on the ribbon snake. And alright, the way the eyes are set on the ribbon snake as compared to the way the eyes are on the common garter. Which one do you think gets bigger? Common garter or northern ribbon? Common garter, yep. They get up to about 5 feet long, where the ribbon snakes basically about 3 feet long. And the common garter snakes will be a lot basically fatter than the ribbon snakes will get. Ribbon snakes generally stay fairly slender.
After we let the snakes go, we headed into the woods where we found a species of salamander as well as a tiny species of frog called a spring peeper.
This is a blue-spotted salamander, and he's from the mole salamander family. And that means he starts in the water, not on land.
Just gives you an idea of how small how small the peeper actually is when they complete metamorphosis. So as a tadpole, they're already very small, and then as they complete metamorphosis and develop the legs and the lungs, they still remain very tiny. Very hard to see, could be easily stepped on, so you really have to keep an eye out for movement. And they're in the tree frog family, which means they can stick to things. And especially when they're completing metamorphosis, coming out of the water, that can be helpful if it's a drying up pond and has a high embankment. They can actually even change their color just a little bit. Nothing like a tree frog can, but they can still change their colors just a little bit to adapt to the surrounding.
Our next spot was at a dried up pond where Lauren made her second find of the day.
Have you hid?
Yeah, this is Oprah,
she's big too.
our toad.
I'm pretty sure she's a female. I didn't mean she's big because she's Oprah. I meant that's a nice look I got. Her name's Oprah. She's big. Oprah the toad. I'm sure Oprah would be very happy to know she had a toad named after her. Toad.
Maybe she should sponsor us.
That's right.
I like it.
Could be on that channel that she has, the whatever
Yeah.
it's called. Oh, or Oxygen, or I don't remember what it's called. Something. What do you remember about American toads? Do you remember what the glands are called on the back? These big glands. You remember what those are called? Parotid glands.
These are
Poison. The big ones on the back of the neck. Big parotid glands.
What would happen if you like popped her with that one?
God.
I think she peed on Lauren and she jumped a little.
For the second time.
Yummy.
You sure you don't want to change your name to Mrs. Peabody?
That's it.
Do we got
Okay,
something we can put her
where's
in?
the bucket?
Where's a bucket for Mrs. Peabody?
We're gonna put it in the warm bucket.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Real name Oprah.
After we left the woods, we made our way over to the Shiawassee Ponds where Max had his first catch of the day.
This is a, what is it?
Snake.
What kind, do you remember?
Eastern.
Or common, yeah, either one, yep.
And looks like a male.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Vent is
It could
way
be a male, yeah, because the vent's pretty far down on the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like it's probably a male.
And he sprayed Taylor
Did he?
a little. Not much.
And who found it? Tom saw it?
I'm seeing him.
Good job.
I've never held a snake before that I actually found.
Just don't squeeze it
It's my
tight.
first time ever catching a snake, pretty much.
Cool.
As we made our way around the ponds, we found a few different species of frogs, including one of our very
I know,
first
that's what I was
pickerel
Yeah,
frogs.
you're right, that's a pickerel. Yep. I see his throat moving. Oh, look at his sides. They're inflating out. Let's see what he does when he hears yellow. Oh, he winked at me. He's definitely a pickerel frog. This is definitely a pickerel frog. You can see all the yellow on the groin there. It's a bright yellow. Makes it really obvious that it's a pickerel frog. And we talk a lot around the Shiawassee Ponds about some of the mimicry. Some of the leopard frogs will actually look like pickerel frogs. But this one is a definite pickerel frog, no doubt in my mind, just because of all that yellow on the groin and the more rectangular spots on the back. So very cool to see a true pickerel frog out here. Like I said, I know there's plenty of leopard frogs. I was always pretty confident there were pickerel frogs out here, but to actually find one and right away be able to identify it with the yellow on the groin, I think is very cool, not only for me, but for the campers. And one of the other things I'm noticing on the top that I haven't noticed before on a leopard frog or even on a pickerel frog are some of the spots, which are normally just a dark spot without any light colored markings in the middle of them. This one actually has some light colored markings in the middle. Some of the kids were asking why I was squishing him, and when I pinch right there, even though it appears like I'm squeezing the body, I'm really just gently holding it. So, but I can see why some of the campers, which I'm glad, I'd rather have them be overcautious, but they were worried I was squishing him, but he's fine. So we're going to put this one in a separate container, and they can be poisonous to other animals that eat them, so we'll get it in a separate container with a little bit of water in it. It looks like I have some volunteers that want to get it set up.
Not long after looking at the pickerel frog, Tommy made another cool catch.
What do you got, Tommy?
I got a little garter snake, the first one I ever caught by my hands, pretty much.
And what did it do to you?
It took a few bites. He sprayed me, I know that.
I can smell you over
wash
here.
off those bites, Tommy?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, but
Yeah,
this
definitely.
was,
It looks painful.
it looks, yeah, it did have a few things. It did have a few painful bites. This little guy, maybe about 2 feet long. He's,
He got a bit in.
he's pretty nice. Nice coloration right there, very much. Yeah, he is very.
While Tommy was finishing talking about the garter snake, Zach and Taylor were over at the pond catching a couple water snakes.
These are 2 northern water snakes that we just caught, and we thought it'd be cool to show the difference in coloration. You can see the bottom of that one's very white and brown, where this one has quite a bit of a red coloration in its pattern. And when they get wet, it actually makes them even more vibrant of colors and everything. But
I got this little tadpole. They said not to get a frog, and I was scooping for something, and I got a little guy, and he was just swimming along. It looks like I might have had another one in there.
What kind of tadpole is he?
He's a pretty big bullfrog tadpole, and he's got his back legs, and this little guy, he's pretty colorful there.
Can I zoom in on him?
There's his little mouth opening.
He's probably like, put me back in the water. Okay, let's get him back into some water. Good job.
After just a little while longer in the pond, and then quite a few years on land, that bullfrog tadpole can grow up to be a big old bullfrog like this one that Zach caught to show the rest of the campers.
Holy moly.
Can I see him in it, Allie?
Oh my God.
Will you come over here for a minute? Oh, that's a big old male.
He's pretty.
Well, thank you.
Got
Oh,
John.
you weren't talking about me, you were talking about the frog. I haven't been called pretty in a long time. Maybe never. I don't think pretty's ever been used to classify me. Rich is so pretty. Anyways, 2 bullfrogs, a little baby, and a big one. You might be my father. I will not join you on the dark side, Darth Frogger.
After we explained to the campers that the yellow throat tells us that this was indeed a male bullfrog, we let this big fella go and called it a day. The next day we headed down a trail on the opposite side of the Shiawassee Woods, and while looking around the shore of a nearby pond, one of the campers stumbled upon an interesting find that gave me the opportunity to explain some turtle anatomy.
Tom just asked a really good question, you guys. He said, I thought turtles couldn't get out of their shells because we just found a painted turtle, and the turtle, we found the shell of it, but no turtle. There's some bone. The shell is actually made of bone. It's basically your spine and your rib cage fused together. So the shell is all bone. The rib cage. Yep, the rib cage and the spine, your backbone, fused together. Theirs do. And what happens is when they die, they rot away. But just like we find bones of other animals, like you can find if a deer dies, right? Exactly. They decompose, but the shell takes so much longer because it's made of bone. It can fossilize even, just like dinosaur bones and things like that. So that's why we can find the shell and little bones of the turtle, which is still sad, but that's why you can find the shell. And people used to think when you found the shell by itself that the turtle crawled out of it. But what it was the turtle had died, decomposed, and the shell was there. But people used to believe that they could crawl out of the shell. Some people did. Crawl out and go find another one, like hermit crabs and things like that.
As we headed down the path a little further, we made our way into a field that has some old logs that we like to flip over. These logs provide a safe hiding place for many animal species, including one that we have never found in this area before.
This is the eastern newt, and it's in the red F stage, and it's in the terrestrial, so when it's on land most.
Do you remember how long they're in the terrestrial or land dwelling stage?
No.
Yeah, it can be anywhere like 1 to 10 years or so. They say like 2 to 7.
You said last time.
1 to 8, something like that. Whoa! You took a spill. I'm just amazed we found it up here, so far away from a pond in such a dry area. You know.
How do we get back to the water when
So was it under a log?
Yeah. Just
Okay.
curled up.
Especially with the snake population out here, because a lot of snakes can get away with eating, even garter snakes and that a lot of times can eat things that are poisonous to other animals because of the way they digest. They don't chew them. They just swallow them whole. So I'm really surprised to find one out here.
Not too long after finding a juvenile eastern newt in the terrestrial red F state, we were fortunate enough to find an aquatic adult of the same species.
Excuse me.
That's cool because we haven't caught one of these in a couple years.
Do you think this is enough?
The salamander right here that Andrew just caught is an eastern newt, and it is an aquatic. It's in its aquatic stage, which is very cool because this year we've caught quite a few eastern newts, but they've all been red Fs, which are the terrestrial stage. So I'm really excited about catching this because here in the Shiawassee Basin Preserve, one of the very first things I ever caught was a big old adult eastern newt that was aquatic, and I haven't seen that many since then here. So I know they're out here, but it's just cool to catch one, especially with the kids out here. Watch your head, you guys, so you don't block the shot, please. That is a small one too. That's probably only like a year and a half. Yeah, probably was just born last year.
And I was gonna pull it off. You can see how it sheds. I was showing them.
That is very cool.
That is cocoa right there, and the nut is on.
Now, our northern ribbon snakes, do you guys remember what we talked about yesterday? Northern ribbon snakes born from an egg or live birth?
Live bird.
Live birth,
Red F's
excellent.
name is Santa.
You guys remember how you can tell it's a ribbon snake and not a garter snake?
Because the scales on the bottom.
It's smaller and its colors are more
Bigger eyes.
dark
It has
and
the
vibrant.
scales on the bottom of it that are more smooth.
Bigger eyes.
Usually like a yellow color, right?
Yeah, and it has more of a brownish color before the white belly starts.
Yep, brown or black, good. Good. And the eyes, remember the eyes usually are a little more what's called prominent. They stand out a little more. Nice job, you guys picked up a lot.
And also the tail. It's got a longer whip-like tail.
That's why they're called a ribbon snake, because they kind of look like a ribbon.
Is it a male or a female?
It's hard to tell this age.
Especially this
Where's
one.
the vent?
Right above this.
Oh, you know, it's probably a male. I mean, there's no way for me to know 100% sure, but I mean, it's got a pretty long tail from the vent down, so I'd say probably a male.
Can I feel it?
It's probably a good one. They can kind of gently touch just one at a time, just gently.
Don't squeeze it
We don't want to scare it. So one, touch it, and then okay, Andrew, now you go ahead and let go, and then Audrey, and then, yep, just like that.
After Taylor let the ribbon snake go under the same log where he had originally found it, we had another unexpected find in a field that we were exploring.
I definitely want to get footage of that, because,
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
yeah, it's very odd.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Here you guys go.
Whoa, he's big.
He hit hard. It was a big old thud.
Yep, he has yellow throat.
He's chirping. Let me go. I'm a male. I don't belong in your hands. Taylor just found a big male bullfrog. You can tell it's a male because of the size of the tympanum, much larger than the eye, yellow throat. But the unusual thing about this is we're in an area that we call Snake Hill, Snake Meadow. We can never remember what we call it, but it's an area where we generally find basically a lot of snakes. And although it's close to a pond, we're at least 100, probably 150 yards away from a pond right now. And to find it out here in the weeds tells you two things. One, that it probably rained a lot last night, yesterday, which we know it did, because the grass has to be pretty wet. It's been very dry for the last month or so. So we know the grass has to be fairly wet for the frog to be able to do all right, because they need to keep a fairly moist skin. And probably, we've seen a lot of grasshoppers, things like that out here. It's probably out here feeding right now. Another cool thing on this that I want to be able to show you guys, look at the thumb here. See how big that is, that pad? Males usually have an enlarged thumb, and that's so they can grasp the female around the chest when they're in what's called amplexus, when they're breeding. It's actually external fertilization, so the female lays the eggs and the male fertilizes them. But that's what those big old toe pads are for right there. Bless you. Big old toe pads to hold the female so that they can basically lay eggs and fertilize the eggs. That's wild.
Can I keep them?
No, we don't need to keep them, but I think we'll take him down to the water, especially now that we've handled him. He's probably gotten dried out a little bit. So there's water, like I said, about 150 yards down that way. So let's put him in that. Which one? Yeah, not in with the turtle.
Of course, after saying how unusual it is to find a bullfrog in an area like this, we actually found another one in the same spot about 2 years later.
So we just came out here to Turkey Knoll, and when we walked over here on a log, there's this pretty decent sized bullfrog just sitting on a log. It's a female bullfrog. Tell it's a bullfrog because it doesn't have the dorsolateral ridges on its back. You can tell it's a female because the tympanums, or the ears on it, are the same size or smaller than the eye, and the white neck.
Why is it unusual that we found this out here?
Because usually they're more around ponds and lakes and that kind of stuff.
And this, our newly named Turkey Knoll is just a field, basically, where we usually find a lot of snakes.
And this is the second big bullfrog we found out here over the last 2 years. It's just really unusual to be out here. Although the grass is really wet, which helps from the morning dew. Helps provide moisture, and they're probably out here, I would assume, feeding off the big bugs, and all the bugs that are going around. It was sitting up on a log, like Zach said, and it would make sense that it would just be out here, perched up, waiting for a bug to fly by. It's a cool find. Before bringing the day to an end, we made our way along the path to a great spot for viewing blue herons. It had been a great day, and we were all excited about the next day, which would take us to Independence Oaks in Clarkston, Michigan.
Probably about 2 years old.
It's a toddler turtle.
I've never seen them with that much yellow on their face.
Henry.
Come on over so I can sit here and be lazy.
His name is Henry.
This is Henry. Henry the musk turtle. What was that, Zach?
Just let us come to you.
Yeah. Go ahead, come to me, you guys.
Whoa, I've never seen that kind of turtle before.
That's a common musk turtle. They're also called stinky jimmies, stink pot, and sometimes known as tailors. I'm just kidding, they're not. Avery's like, seriously?
You guys know how you can tell it's a musk turtle?
How?
Well,
The shell?
one of the biggest things is the shape of its shell and their size. They actually, I don't know, they only get a good 3 times bigger than this, maybe.
Like that?
Well, watch your fingers. These guys are not quite as aggressive as snapping turtles, but almost. So a common musk turtle, that's a good find out here, you guys. That's very cool. It does have a lot of pretty yellow on the face, doesn't it?
Don't get too.
And it's nice that it's not super aggressive right now.
And how old do you guys think this one is?
About maybe 2 years old. 3.
That's actually probably
4.
about right.
3.
Looks like a snapper on your
Of course, shut its mouth as soon as I backed up and got it focused. Oh, there you go.
breathe?
Anger it. Oh yeah, they breathe oxygen with their lungs.
I thought
They can also absorb some oxygen through their shell, through their skin, just like soft-shell turtles can.
We let the musk turtle go in the same spot that we had caught it, and then headed down a trail that follows the edge of the lake. As we made our way down the trail, Taylor was able to make a cool yet very unusual catch for us, finding a young species of mammal that actually shares a close name to the musk turtle that we had just caught.
It's a baby muskrat. Keep your hands back. I don't want them biting anyone. Stay back, you guys. Let her get a little footage of it. Hey, you guys, back up, please. Take 2 steps back.
it's climbing.
Because we want to let it go so it doesn't get too freaked out.
Mine.
That is a muskrat. They build those out of the cattail shoots and all that. They'll build the platforms. You see, especially over the mill pond, there's quite a few of those platforms. Are they a reptile, amphibian? Mammal. Good job. They're a mammal.
They're placental.
You guys have probably seen them. What are they?
They're like
Placental mammals. Nice job.
I have muskrats on my lake, and they're bigger than that.
Placental mammals, which means they are born and nurse, right? The mothers nurse their young.
born developed.
Yep, born developed. Yep.
We could tell that this young muskrat was getting pretty stressed out, so we knew we better let it go.
Oh, he'll be fine. You know they swim. Look at that. And he come right up into the sun.
As we were letting the little muskrat go, Taylor and Zach were working together to catch another female bullfrog.
Okay, I got it.
He's under.
It's a big female bullfrog. Rich, that's
Another
a female,
frog.
right?
It was a little
What's that?
Female bullfrog.
smaller.
That's a female too.
Yep.
It's pretty.
This tympano's about the same size as the eye.
In the throat.
It's got bigger thighs, so it's definitely female.
Real funny, Rich.
That's quite a turn other big. No, the thighs have nothing to do with it. But yeah, it's a female.
That's the biggest female I've seen.
I thought we had a bigger female.
We might
Back,
have. I might
I
not
thought even this year,
realize that
it's
was
hard to
female.
judge sizes. I know it's not as big as the males we've had lately.
Oh, yeah.
So,
She's pretty.
nice job. Who caught it? Look at the forearms, or the forelegs.
It was teamwork, Rich.
She works out. She's pretty buff. Look at me.
I was on the German Olympic team. I was tested for steroid use, however, they were never able to catch me. After we let Big Bertha the bullfrog go, we took the group down to the little creek that had dried up to try to save as much wildlife as we could. All right, let's head down to the creek. The creek is really dried up here, and Zach just picked up a rock, and there's still a few things living in a little puddle underneath the rock, so we're going to get those back into Crooked Lake. We like to, this time of the year, we like to try to save as much wildlife as we possibly can.
See, there's some.
That little puddle right there still has some more things in it.
I saw him hopping around, and I didn't shout that I found a frog so nobody else would catch it, because I really wanted to catch him, because I didn't get to catch one yet, and I finally did.
Cool. And what kind of frog is it?
Wood frog.
Very nice. Good job. Nice job. Go ahead and let it go way off where we're not going to be. Maybe across. Oh yeah, down there would be fine. Just make sure he's where we wouldn't be.
I caught 3 crayfish. I just looked under a rock and I thought they were little larvae or something. And then I checked them out and they were crayfish.
Alright, cool.
So
Gonna put them in a bucket so we can let them go?
Yeah, we got a little male. I was on the other side. There was some water and I found a little green frog.
Nice job.
It's a female.
Female, alright. Yep, looks like it, doesn't it?
Yep. That's a small one.
That's a little tiny crayfish, isn't it? It's a little baby. Little baby.
It actually jumps.
I don't think I am gonna.
Oh, come on.
You've held those a million times.
I'll pick him up. This guy jumps.
No, it can't.
I'm flying.
You can try all at once.
He wants to pinch me really bad.
I want him to pinch you for the people at home. Because they want to see excitement. So Zach, I'd like you to put it up close to your nose, please. I triple dog dare you.
Do it.
I'll put him up to Mason's.
Yeah, that'd be good. All right, Mason, there you go.
Take one for the team.
Take one for the team. Heather Lawson said she'd love to give a crayfish a kiss. Attacking the crayfish! Arr! What's that scar on your cheek from? Zach is now releasing the giant crayfish.
The strongest crayfish in the world.
Yep, the biggest, strongest crayfish ever in the world. After taking all of the animals that we rescued down to the lake, we stopped at one of the docks and made a very cool catch to help bring our day to a close.
Whoa, that's a pretty big one. Holy moly. That's not what I was thinking.
Alright guys, this is a larger common snapping turtle. But you have to stay seated because it's pretty aggressive. It is, oh, it's a female.
That's what I was thinking, it's dome shell.
Yep, female, definitely. Watch your hand.
Hey, deal. She has a temperature.
Oh, big as they get?
No.
Oh no. That one's probably only, I'd guess, about 8 years old.
Oh yeah, I'm 8.
So maybe a little bit older, but I mean, she still has some of the ridges. Although it's pretty smooth, I guess that's the moss. Hello, beautiful. Oh, you got a leech right on your mouth.
Oh, she does.
That's going to be a little bit short of a stick.
A little bit short of a
As long
stick.
as I've been working with turtles, you'd think I would pick up a bigger stick than that. Oh, here's a good one with a little pointer edge.
Yeah, but watch his eyes.
I will.
Make her eat it. Make her eat it.
I don't want her to eat stick. I want to get the leech off.
Make her eat the leech. Does anybody have some salt?
I don't have any on me. There it goes, didn't it? Nope.
Oh, it's still there.
Make her, make them, when you get the leech off,
Whoa! After a bit of a struggle and a broken stick, we were finally able to get the leech off the snapping turtle's face. We also decided it was a good time to let her go back in the water where we caught her. To the dock.
I can't see with the sun.
I know. It's going to go underneath. Maybe not. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Team Reptile's My Wildlife Adventures.